The race session is at V8SC in Nunn, Australia. Steve JR from Australia is first on softs. Hashtag Flongy from Australia is P2 on softs. Alphonse from Australia is third on softs. Gun 180 DRFTR from Australia is P4 on softs. Etonic is fifth on softs. Lethal Force from Australia is P6 on softs. SMC 535 from Australia is P7 on mediums. Exiled Reaper GTL hashtag O from Australia is P8 on softs. Speed Racer from Australia is 9th on softs. Swooper 33 from Australia is P10 on softs. Twisted Vine from Australia is P11 on softs. Exilex from Italy is 12th on softs. Tobizea from Australia is 13th on softs. Huggy 65 from Australia is P14 on mediums. Red Devil from Australia is P15 on softs. Stu M from Italy is P16 on softs. Steve JR is P1. Race start. Steve JR lost first to hashtag Flongy. Gun 180 DRFTR is third. Etonic in Southern Leaf is fifth. Lethal Force is P6. SMC 535 is 7th. Exilex is 11th. Huggy 65 in Lukey Heights is 13. Red Devil is 15. Twisted Vine in Gardner Strait is P10. Huggy 65 in Dewan Corner is P13, 0.2 ahead of Swooper 33. Swooper 33 is P13, 0.3 behind Huggy 65. Lethal Force is 6th, 0.4 behind Etonic. Huggy 65 in Siberia on lap 2 is P12, 0.3 ahead of Swooper 33. Lights is P13, 0.3 ahead of Red Devil. Huggy 65 is 11, 0.4 ahead of Swooper 33. Swooper 33 in Gardner Straight is 12th on softs, 0.3 behind Huggy 65. Tobiasea from Australia in Dewan Corner is 11th, 0.2 ahead of Swooper 33. Swooper 33 is P12. Best lap is a 1:44.666. 4.029 off the fastest lap. Red Devil in Honda Hairpin is 13, 0.4 behind Swooper 33. Twisted Vine is P15, 0.5 behind Stu M. Eatnik is 6th, 0.3 behind Lethal Force. Swooper 33 in Swan Corner is P12 on softs, 0.3 behind Tobiasea. Red Devil is 13th, 0.3 behind Swooper 33. Stu M in Southern Loop is P15. Best lap is a 1:45.190. 4.675 off the fastest lap. Stu M passed Twisted Vine for 14th. Evo JR in Siberia is 2nd, 0.5 behind #Fulani. Red Devil in Siberia is 13th, 0.5 behind Tobiasea. Evo JR is P2, 0.4 behind #Fulani. Swooper 33 from Australia in Swan Corner is P11, 0.7 behind Huggy 65. Evo JR in Southern Loop is P2, 0.5 behind #Fulani. Swooper 33 is P11, 0.7 behind Huggy 65. Evo JR is 2nd. Best lap is a 1:40.322. Swooper 33 is 11th, 0.8 behind Huggy 65. Evo JR in Doan corner is 2nd. Swooper 33 from Australia is 11th, 0.7 behind Huggy 65. Evo JR is 2nd, 0.5 behind #Flangi. Nick in Lukey Heights is 6th, 1.3 behind Lethal Force. Evo JR is P2, 0.3 behind #Flangi. SMC 535 is 7th, 1.3 behind Etonic. Evo JR from Australia is P2, 0.2 behind #Flangi. Etonic is P6, 1.5 behind Lethal Force. Evo JR in MG is P2, 0.4 behind #Flangi. Etonic is 6th, 1.3 behind Lethal Force. Evo JR on lap 8 is P2, 0.4 behind #Flangi. #Flangi in Honda Hairpin is 2nd battling Evo JR. #Flangi passes Evo JR for P1. Etonic is 6th. Best lap is a 1:41.930. 1.766 off the fastest lap. Evo JR is P2, 1.6 behind hashtag Philongi. Is P6, 1.7 behind Lethal Force. Evo JR is P2 on softs, 1.4 behind hashtag Philongi. Hashtag Philongi was 0.9 faster last lap. Evenik is 6th on softs, 1.4 behind Lethal Force. Evo JR is P2, 1.2 behind hashtag Philongi. SMC 535 is P7 on mediums, 0.5 behind Evenik. Evo JR is 2nd, 1.1 behind hashtag Philongi. SMC 535 in Casey Stoner is P7. Best lap is a 141.865. 1.701 off the fastest lap. Tavizea in Southern Loop is 14th. Best lap is a 143.057. 2.893 off the fastest lap. Evo JR is 2nd, 1.0 behind hashtag Philongi. Tavizea is 14th, 0.5 behind Stu M. SMC 535 in Southern Loop is 7th, 1.0 behind Evenik. Tavizea in Gardner Strait is 14th, 0.3 behind Stu M. Evo JR is P2, 0.9 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah from Australia in Siberia is 14th, 0.6 behind Stu M. SMC 535 in Dewan corner is P7, 0.8 behind Etonic. Isaiah is 14th on softs, 0.7 behind Stu M. Evo JR is second, 0.6 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah from Australia in Honda hairpin is P14, 0.5 behind Stu M. Evo JR in Southern Loop is second, 0.3 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah in Lukey Heights is P14. Evo JR in Siberia is second, 0.5 behind hashtag Fulani. Evo JR was 0.9 faster last lap. Isaiah in Gardner Strait is P14, 0.4 behind Stu M. Evo JR in Swan Corner is second, 0.6 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah in Honda hairpin is P14. Evo JR in Southern Loop is P2, 0.4 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah in Lukey Heights is P14, 0.4 behind Stu M. Evo JR is second, 0.4 behind hashtag Fulani. Isaiah in Gardner Strait is P14, 0.3 behind Stu M. Tobizea passed Stu M for P13. Stu M is P14, 0.4 behind Tobizea. Evo JR in Gardner Strait is second, 0.3 behind #belonging. Tobizea in Honda Hairpin is P14. Evo JR in Casey Stoner is P2, 0.3 behind #belonging. Red Devil is P15, 0.1 ahead of X-Exilex. Red Devil entering the pits is P12. Evo JR from Australia is second, 0.3 behind #belonging. Tobizea in Swan Corner is P15, 0.3 behind Stu M. Red Devil exiting pits on softs. Tobizea is now P14. Stu M is 14th. Evo JR in Gardner Strait is P2, 0.2 behind #belonging. SMC 535 is 7th on mediums, 0.4 behind Etna. Tobizea in Siberia is 14th, 0.5 behind Stu M. Evo JR in Honda Hairpin is P2, 0.4 behind #belonging. SMC 535 is P7, 0.4 behind Ethernet. Tobizea in Swan Corner is P14. Evo JR from Australia in Swan Corner is P2, 0.2 behind #belonging. #belonging from Australia in Doohan Corner is second battling Evo JR. SMC 535 on lap 16 is P7, 0.1 behind Evenek. Evenek entering the pits is 7th. SMC 535 passed Evenek for 6th. Tobizea is 14th, 0.5 behind Stu M. #Philongi in Siberia on lap 17 is P2, 0.5 behind Evo JR. Isaiah in Swan Corner is P14, 0.5 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani is P2. Etanek in Luki Heights is 11. Isaiah is 14th, 0.4 behind Stu M. Etanek is 11, 0.6 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah is P14, 0.5 behind Stu M. Etanek in Honda Hairpin is 11th, 0.5 behind Swooper 33. Stu M is 14th, 0.1 behind Isaiah. Stu M passed Isaiah for P13. Etanek in Luki Heights is P11, 0.4 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah in Siberia is 14. Twisted Vine entering the pits is 12. Swooper 33 is P11, 0.2 behind Etanek. Isaiah in Swan Corner is P14. Twisted Vine exiting pits on softs. Swooper 33 in Siberia is P11, 0.5 behind Etanek. Isaiah is 14, 1.0 behind Stu M. Swooper 33 is 11, 1.0 behind Etanek. Tabizea in MG is 14th, 0.9 behind Stu M. Hashtag Philani is second on softs, 0.5 behind Steve Jr. Hashtag Philani passed Steve Jr. for P1. Huggy 65 is 10th, 0.2 behind Etonic. Gun 180 DRFTR entering the pits is P3. Steve Jr. exiting pits on softs. Swooper 33 in MG is 11th, 1.0 behind Huggy 65. Huggy 65 in Swan Corner is P10 on mediums, 0.5 behind Exiled Reaper GTL hashtag O. Exiled Reaper GTL hashtag O entering the pits is 11th. Huggy 65 is now P9. Swooper 33 in Southern Loop is P10, 0.9 behind Huggy 65. Exiled Reaper GTL hashtag O exiting pits on softs. Hashtag Philani entering the pits is first. Hashtag Philani is first. Tabizea entering the pits is 14th. Huggy 65 in Siberia is 9th, 0.5 ahead of Swooper 33. Swooper 33 was 1.2 faster last lap. Hashtag Philani exiting pits on softs. Lethal Force is P3. Lethal Force entering the pits is 3rd. Tabizea exiting pits on softs. Twisted Vine in Siberia is P12. Huggy 65 from Australia is 9th, 1.0 ahead of Swooper 33. Huggy 65 entering the pits is P9. Lethal Force exiting pits on softs. Swooper 33 entering the pits is 10th. SMC 535 in Honda Hairpin is 3rd. Exilex entering the pits is 15th. Exilex is 15th. Gun 180 DRFTR in Siberia is 4th, 4.3 behind SMC 535. Huggy 65 exiting pits on mediums. Swooper 33 exiting pits on softs. Exilex is 16th. Exilex exiting pits on softs. Gun 180 DRFTR from Australia in Swan Corner is 4th, 2.1 behind SMC 535. SMC 535 entering the pits is P3. Gun 180 DRFTR passed SMC 535 for 3rd. Alphones in Gardner Strait is P5 on softs, 0.7 behind SMC 535. SMC 535 exiting pits on mediums. Alphones passed SMC 535 for P4. Evenik is 6th, 0.3 behind SMC 535. Speed Racer exiting pits on softs. SMC 535 from Australia in Casey Stoner is P6 battling Evenik. XXILEX entering the pits is P15. SMC 535 passed Evenik for 5th. Evenik is 6th. Hashtag Kulani is P2 on softs, 3.0 behind Ski Evo JR. Evenik in Swan Corner on lap 23 is P6, 0.9 behind SMC 535. Hashtag Fulani in Siberia is P2, 2.7 behind Sti Evo JR. Evenik in Honda hairpin on lap 24 is 6th, 1.2 behind SMC 535. Stu M entering the pits is 13th. Hashtag Kulani is 2nd, 3.1 behind Sti Evo JR. Tabizea in Gardner Straight is P14, 0.2 behind Stu and Tabizea was 2.7 faster last lap. Tabizea passed Stu M for P13. Stu M from Italy in Southern Loop is P14, 0.7 behind Tabizea. Evenik in Honda hairpin is 6th, 1.3 behind SMC 535. Tabizea in Lukey Heights is 14, 0.8 behind Stu M. Lethal Force is P7, 1.2 behind Evenik. Tabizea is P14, 0.3 behind Stu M. Lethal Force from Australia in Southern Loop is P7, 1.1 behind Evening. Tavizaya in Siberia is P14, 0.6 behind Stu M. Swooper 33 in Southern Loop is 12, 0.9 behind Huggy 65. Huggy 65 was 3.4 faster last lap. Tavizaya in Swan Corner on lap 25 is P14, 0.2 behind Stu M. Stu M is 14th battling Tavizaya. Lethal Force on lap 27 is 7, 0.5 behind Evening. Tavizaya is 14th battling Stu M. Lethal Force is P7, 0.4 behind Evening. Tavizaya in Luki Heights is 14th, 0.3 behind Stu M. Lethal Force is P7, 0.5 behind Evening. Swooper 33 is 12, 1.1 behind Huggy 65. Evening in Southern Loop is 7, 0.3 behind Lethal Force. Evening is now P6. Stu M in Casey Stoner is P14. Best lap is a 1:44.286. 4.226 off the fastest lap. Swooper 33 in Southern Loop is 12, 1.4 behind Huggy 65. Stu M in MG is P14 on softs, 1.4 behind to Isaiah. Stu M was 1.2 faster last lap. Swooper 33 is P12, 0.4 behind Huggy 65. Hashtag Kulani from Australia is second, 1.3 behind Steve Evo JR. Huggy 65 in Gardner Straight is P12 on mediums, 0.2 behind Swooper 33. Hashtag Kulani in Southern Loop is P2, 0.7 behind Steve Evo JR. Stu M is P14. Hashtag Kulani on lap 30 is P2, 0.7 behind Steve Evo JR. Stu M is 14th on softs, 0.9 behind to Isaiah. Stu M passed to Isaiah for 13th. Hashtag Fulani from Australia is second, 0.9 behind Steve Evo JR. Huggy 65 is P12. Best lap is a 142.682. 2.895 off the fastest lap. Hashtag Fulani is P2, 0.8 behind Steve Evo JR. Huggy 65 is 12th, 1.1 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah is P14 on softs, 0.4 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 in Southern Loop is 12. Tabizaya in Siberia is 14th on softs, 0.6 behind Stu M. Stu M was 1.2 faster last lap. Huggy 65 in Luki Heights is 12, 1.0 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya is P14, 0.5 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 on lap 32 is P12, 0.4 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya is 14th on softs, 0.5 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 0.8 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya is P14, 1.2 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 0.3 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya in Southern Loop is P14, 1.1 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 0.3 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya is P14, 1.2 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 0.7 behind Swooper 33. Tabizaya is P14, 1.1 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 in Casey Stoner is 12. Best lap is a 142.640. 2.853 off the fastest lap. Isaiah in Siberia is P14. Best lap is a 1:42.414. 2.627 off the fastest lap. Huggy 65 in MG is P12 on mediums, 1.6 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah in Gardner Strait is P14, 0.8 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 1.4 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah on lap 34 is 14th, 0.5 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 in MG is P12, 1.6 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah is 14th, 0.5 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 on lap 36 is P12, 1.3 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah on lap 35 is 14th, 0.7 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 is P12, 1.4 behind Swooper 33. Isaiah is 14th, 0.6 behind Stu M. Huggy 65 in Doohan Corner on lap 37 is P12, 1.8 behind Swooper 33. Huggy 65 passed Swooper 33 for 11th. Tabizea is 14th, 1.3 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani in MG is P2, 2.0 behind Steve JR. Tabizea in MG is P14, 1.2 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani is P2, 1.7 behind Steve JR. Tabizea is P14, 1.1 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani in MG is second, 1.6 behind Steve JR. Tabizea from Australia in Lukey Heights is P14, 1.9 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani is second, 1.6 behind Steve JR. Tabizea is P14 on softs, 0.6 behind Stu M. Hashtag Fulani from Australia in MG is second, 1.4 behind Steve JR. The leader has just finished the race. Steve JR finished first. Hashtag Fulani finished P2. Exiled Reaper GTL hashtag O finished 9th. Twisted Vine finished P10. Huggy 65 finished 11th. Gun 180 DRFTR finished P3. Tabizea finished 13th. Stu M finished 14th. Swooper 33 finished 12th. Alphones finished P4. Legal Force finished P5. Eatnik finished P6. SMC 535 finished P7. Speed Racer finished P8.